What's up guys, Nick Ehrlich here with the Lean Life Revolution, and today we're doing part 3 of our Training for Your Body Type series, and today we're diving into the endomorphic body type. Check it out. Alright guys, so today we're digging into the endomorphic physique or the endomorphic genotype, okay? If you're just jumping into this, we've just done a 3-part series about training for your genetic body type. So our first series was the ectomorphic body type, which is a naturally long, naturally thin, naturally harder to gain any kind of weight body type. The last video we did, part 2, was the mesomorphic body type, which is that classic bodybuilder physique, natural V-taper, naturally lean, has a real easy time gaining lean muscle, and a harder time gaining body fat. And today we're talking about the endomorphic body type. Now, this is really sensitive because this is something that I really see myself as being, is an endomorphic body type. So with an endomorphic body type, these are going to be your people, men and women, who have a pretty easy time gaining muscle tissue, but also have a very easy time gaining and storing body fat. And for endomorphic body types, it tends to be more difficult to drop body fat when you are dieting because your metabolism kind of naturally stores and hangs on to body fat, okay? Now, when you're an endomorphic body type, there are a few things that you've got to observe when it comes to your training, right? Number one, it's going to be very easy for you to gain weight because you can gain muscle and fat so easily, okay? Number two, it's going to be harder for you to get lean naturally because your body just has a harder time letting go of body fat and an easier time storing it, okay? And number three is that endomorphic body types tend to be naturally very carb sensitive, which means that as those people increase their carbohydrate intake, their body's propensity is to store that as body fat, whereas a mesomorphic or an ectomorphic body type isn't going to store that carbohydrate as fat so readily, okay? So if you're an endomorphic body type, if you've always been a little bit bigger, and the way to check with this a lot of times are that endomorphic body types tend to have the biggest joints, the biggest bone structure, you know, a little bit of a V-taper, but naturally not as much, okay? If you're someone who has really thick or big wrists and elbows, things like that, these are things that lend itself to an endomorphic body type. It's just a naturally thicker frame and larger physique, okay? We're not talking about big boned. I'm talking about the size of your joints. You know what I mean? I have enormous wrists, okay? Part of that's because I'm an endomorphic body type. Now, when you are training to be lean as an endomorph, there are a few things that you have to understand. Number one is that it's going to be very easy as an endomorph to want to gravitate to resistance training because your body is strong, okay, and your body can gain muscle tissue easily. It's going to be very easy for you to lift weights and get stronger and progress in a resistance training capacity, okay? However, if all you are doing is resistance training, you're not circuit training, you're not doing your high intensity training, you're not doing your cardio, you're not focusing on those other things, you're gonna gain body fat pretty much at the same rate that you are gaining lean tissue, okay? So it creates a situation where you get these huge dudes who are absolutely enormous, who can bench 500 pounds, but have bellies that look like they swallowed like a frozen butterball turkey, you know what I mean? Because they're not training for their body type effectively, okay? So if you're an endomorphic body type and a natural endomorph, you're a person who's gonna do really well with long bouts of fasted cardio first thing in the morning, okay? So I'm still someone who a few days a week will go and do a long 30 to 45 minute cardio session first thing in the morning. I'll wake up out of bed, I'll have some coffee, I'll probably have 5 grams of amino acids, just get that stuff in my system to get me going, and then I'll hit the gym or I'll go for a walk or a jog, and I'll do that 45 minutes of fasted cardio because it takes a little more to keep that lean physique or to burn that excess body fat when you're trying to clean up, okay? Now, when I hit my resistance training sessions, I tend to start with a nice warm-up, and then I circuit train everything, okay? I try to avoid doing set, rest resistance training because, yeah, my body's gonna gain muscle really easily, but it's also gonna gain fat really easily, so I need to make sure that I'm always maintaining an element of fat burning in my workouts. So circuit training is gonna be enormous if you're a naturally endomorphic body type, okay? And then finally, as an endomorph, being very carb sensitive, what you've gotta keep in mind is that you're gonna wanna keep a lower carb intake than the other body types to keep yourself in that lean state, right? So as an endomorph myself, I like to think about keeping my carbohydrates first thing in the morning at breakfast, whatever my meal is before my resistance training workout and whatever my recovery meal is right afterwards. Those are the meals that I make sure to have a moderate carb intake so that I can fuel myself for the day, fuel myself for my workout, and then properly and adequately recover from my workout afterwards, okay? So those are the things you have to keep in mind if you're an endomorphic body type. If you're an endomorphic body type, it doesn't mean that you can't be lean. It doesn't mean that you can't maintain or achieve a level of success in the gym. It just means you've got to understand your body, understand how you function, and understand what it is that you need to do in order to achieve and maintain the physique that you are looking for, okay? So I hope this video series was successful, and I want to wrap up this 3-part series really by saying that it's almost like, I'm going to rip this off, we're going to do a whole other page here. Because when you're training for body type success, you know what I mean? It's really never one thing. It's more like 3. So right here we have like a 3-circle Venn diagram, okay? So here we'll have your ectos, here we'll have your mesos, and here we'll have your endos, okay? Now, while there are people that exist in those pure ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph kind of genotypes, most people are going to wind up in these areas in between one or the other, okay? So maybe you're like an ectomeso, all right? So you can gain muscle really easily. It is a little harder for you to gain fat, but you don't really get like big. You can just get a little bit thicker, right? You're probably an ectomeso, okay? Realistically, I'm probably somewhere between an endomeso, okay? Because I have a little bit of a natural V-taper, but I still gain muscle as easily as I gain body fat. I still am carb sensitive, so I probably exist over here on the outer edge of ectomeso, you know? So watch these 3 videos and then figure out where you fall in this 3-way Venn diagram, okay? Because once you understand your body type and what your needs are, you're gonna be able to program for yourself at a much higher rate of efficacy because you understand who you are, what you need, and what success is gonna mean for your body type. So I hope this was great. Like and share this. Make sure to subscribe. Thanks for joining the revolution. We'll see you back here next time.